what does Baskin-Robbins sell? And you'll probably say ice cream. But the thing is this, when do you buy ice cream? So you don't buy ice cream because you're hungry. You buy ice cream because you're happy and you celebrate. You go at Baskin-Robbins, there's usually groups of people in there, friends together, happy, excited. So therefore, what Baskin-Robbins sell is actually happiness. Welcome to the latest edition of the Family and Business Podcast. As always, Caroline's joining me. And Caroline, since last episode, what's been going on in your world?
Survival. And I don't mean the show. I mean, I survived the week because it's been a shit of a week.
What's made it a shit of a week? I dread to ask. As long as you isn't the answer.
No.
Oh, that can't be. I was away most of last week.
That part, it was really good. You were probably lucky, weren't you?
What made it a shit of a week, Caroline?
Well, I don't think everybody wants to hear what made it a shit week, and we don't have enough time for that. We've got some really cool stuff to go through today.
It's interesting because I had a really good week. So had lots of positive things going on, worked with some really good clients, had some great conversations, and connected with some old clients. It's funny how clients become friends. I love that. So, all right, this week.
Let's go.
All right, let's get on to it. This week, we're talking about what is your true product. This is one of my favourite topics, by the way. I love talking about this stuff.
It confuses people, which I really like.
It does. And people get a bit feisty about it sometimes as well. So we're talking about what is your true product. Tell me, what does it matter? Why do we have to know what your true product is, and what does that kind of really mean?
How are you possibly going to get the language that you need for people to buy and for you to make money if you don't know what you're selling?
Yeah, so let's talk about our business, right? Coaching. So what are we selling? Well, we're selling coaching, aren't we?
No.
And I think that's a really big thing because people go to that description. It's almost a descriptor. Oh, what are you selling? Well, I sell coaching. Because nobody buys coaching, correct?
No.
So what do they buy instead?
I think our clients buy outcomes. They buy peace of mind, making life easier for them and their teams.
Yep. Momentum. Ease, all of those sort of convenience.
Yep.
And I think the other thing they buy is camaraderie and almost like companionship.
Community.
Yeah, that's better. Companionship sounds like it's like a dating app or something.
That's just creepy.
It's not companionship, it's community. All right, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's about the community, and that's what people buy. It's certainly when they buy our mastermind program, they buy community. I've got some really simple examples about the concept of what is your true product. And, there's that old saying, I think it came out of Harvard many years ago, about people don't buy a quarter-inch drill bit. They buy the quarter-inch hole in the wall in order to hang the painting on the wall.
Yep.
But I think there's some real-world examples. So if you're listening to this and go, okay, that's fine, it's a product. What about services? So one of the ones I always use is mortgages.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Because, nobody wakes up in the morning and, scratches their butt and looks out the window and goes, oh, it's a lovely day outside. I think I'll go get myself a $1 million mortgage over the next
Commit myself for
25
30
years. Yeah, exactly. Well, at my age, they won't give a 30-year mortgage, but you know what I mean. But they don't, right? But what they do is they go, do you know what? We've outgrown this house and we want our dream home. Or I want to set my kids or my grandkids up for the future, so I want to buy some investment properties or whatever it might be. That's what they buy. And so if what you do is you go out and push out that you are selling mortgages, you'll probably do okay, but you won't do anywhere near as well as the other person in your industry that goes out and says, I'm selling those things we talked about.
Yeah. You will never see an ad on TV for a bank and a home loan that shows the mortgage payments. You'll see the house with the key opening and with the door opening, and that's what's going to sell you. That's what's making you buy that house and buy that loan.
So it's a great point. I mean, we're not marketers, right? And we're not marketing consultants, and it's not what we do. We work with good marketers, and for our, for people in our program, we're not marketers. So the best way that we help you is to sort of go, this is not marketing advice, but what it is saying, hey, if you are going out to the market, before you even engage a marketing consultant or use AI or whatever you want to do for your marketing, you got to get this right first.
Yeah.
And can I just say, it's actually, we give you a compliment, right? Because it's a really, really good point you make. I reckon some of the best ads that on TV for old people like me who still watch free-to-air TV, but I think there's ads on all the streaming
Yep.
services now as well. Are those ads for insurance companies, banks? They're never about the bloody they're never about the bloody product, right? They're never about, because who wants to buy an insurance policy, right?
Me, I want to buy one for you.
But they're always about getting rescued and being. They're always about getting rescued or getting support, or that Westpac Life helicopter pulling people out of the water and all that lovely things that the bank do, and
Lifesavers.
Yeah, or you're putting the key in the door and this lovely new car you get or a new home you buy or whatever. That's what it's about. Because if they went and said, listen, here's what we want you to do. We want you to pay. We're going to take out an insurance policy. We want you to pay thousands of dollars every year for the next 20 years. And every time you make a claim, we are going to make you go through hell to try and achieve the claim.
Yep.
They never talk about that.
No.
Right? So I think mortgages is a good example.
But if you look at that, it's the outcome that they're focused on.
That's right.
It's
That's
always,
right.
it has to be the outcome. If you're if you're doing a marketing campaign and you're advertising the wrong thing, the wrong product, you're not advertising. Essentially, it's like you're advertising what you've got written on the invoice, but you're not advertising what your outcome is and what solution you're going to provide for your client. It's not going to be able to be. It's just not going to cut it.
So if you're doing well, but you want to do better, then I think this is one of the tools that you absolutely have to master. You need to understand what your true product is. Something Rory Sutherland says all the time is that concept of, what is the true product that you're selling? What is it? And that is about both the outcome, but the emotional connection. If you can get people to emotionally connect with your product,
Yep.
you're far more likely to get them to buy it and to continue to buy. And that's a product or service, by the way.
Yes.
Yep. Can I use the one I always use, the Baskin Robbins,
Yeah.
right? Which usually
Everybody loves ice cream, so that's a good one.
right. Okay. So what we used to often do if we're doing presentations from stage and things like that, I'd always say, what does Baskin Robbins sell? We did it with a prospect recently, right? So I'd ask you, what does Baskin Robbins sell? And you'll probably say, ice cream. But the thing is this, when do you buy ice cream? So you don't buy ice cream because you're hungry. Like if you're going, I'm really starving, I'm going to go get an ice cream. But you buy ice cream, generally speaking, you buy ice cream because you're happy and you celebrate. You go at Baskin Robbins, there's usually groups of people in there, friends together,
Yeah.
couples.
They're happy, excited.
They're happy, excited. Or you buy ice cream when you're feeling a little bit low and you want to cheer yourself up. So the message that I always used to use was when my daughter Sam was a teenager and she'd break up with a boy, and I'd take her to Baskin Robbins because, she'd need cheering up, she'd need commiserating if they broke up, and I'd be celebrating because I probably didn't like the bloke anyway. So it was a win-win situation. But they're the two times you buy ice cream.
Yep.
So therefore, what Baskin Robbins sell is actually happiness.
Yeah. And if you, as a business owner, if you're listening, have a think about, you might know what your product is, but you need to make sure that your team knows what the product is. So if you're looking at the Baskin Robbins example, the executives of Baskin Robbins know that they're making happiness, they're selling happiness. If your team didn't know that, if they just had in their mind that they're just selling ice cream, they're selling a high calorie product that people want to buy and that costs a lot of money, as opposed to going, people are going to come in and they're buying something that they love and it makes them yummy and feel good.
So that's why, if we just use Baskin Robbins as an example, that's why the stores are always really brightly coloured. They're all that pink. They've got all those varieties. You can see the ice creams. You can, the people are in bright uniforms. They're trained to be bubbly and happy, and you can get samples, and everybody's pleased to see you, and all that sort of stuff. So it really does get that emotional thing. And you make a good point, because one of the things that we found, and I'd really put this challenge out to you, if you looked at your business and asked yourself, or asked your better half, your other half, if you're in a family business, what's the product we sell? Go ask your team, because if they're not giving you the same answer, you've got a problem. And so you have to go through, and there's a little exercise you can do for this, by the way. So I could say to you, for example, what do we sell, right? And you might say, well, we sell coaching. I go, well, what does that do?
Yeah.
For the client.
Just keep going through that process. Keep asking the same question.
And I can't do it with you because you know the ultimate answer, right? But we go, what does that do? And you might say, Well, it gives them some guidance. Well, what does that do? And we
right.
end up getting right to them where I go, it gives them freedom, it gives them support, it gives them that
Yep.
camaraderie or that community that you spoke about earlier. And so at the end of the day, that's actually what we sell.
Yeah.
And, I think the other good thing about that is that's not only does it help you to separate your product or service, in the mind of your client, but I think it also separates you from your competitors.
I think it's easy for businesses. It's easier for businesses just to get stuck in the transactional process of business, thinking the more transactions they do, the more profitable their business will be. But what they don't maybe think about is I'll call it the backstage part of doing business.
Yep.
If they don't get their team on board with the clarity of what the product is or the service, those sorts of things, their business isn't going to be able to increase. And once you do have these, those sorts of things ingrained into your team, there's going to be dramatic increases in the profitability and organisational level of the business.
Yeah, the other thing too is I think there's a dramatic impact on loyalty. Because really, if unless you're in a transactional business, and most of you are going to be you're going to be in relationship-based businesses, right, in service businesses. So if you're in that kind of a service business, you want to create loyalty. Now, we can talk about brand loyalty, and if you go to, with all due respect to some marketing consultants, whatever, they'll talk about we need to build brand loyalty. It's actually not about building brand loyalty. It's about building loyalty to the transformation that your product or service brings.
Yep.
Right. You're building the loyalty to that, because we could call our business anything, and we have had different names for it over the last 20 years.
Yep.
We could call it anything. It's actually not a loyalty to a brand unless you're in that kind of really high-end product brand, like people become loyal to Louis Vuitton or Van Cleef & Arpels or whatever it might be, Nikes and stuff like that.
But that's not an overnight. You can just open a Nike shop and go, voila.
Roll up. But generally speaking, what people are actually loyal to is they are loyal to the transformation that your product or service brings to them. And for them to get loyal to that, you've got to understand what it is.
Yep.
And you've got to be able to explain what it is and say what it is.
And it's emotional first, and then logic, because people don't look at a Nike. Nike is a good example. You don't look at a Nike shirt and go, oh, it is logical for me to pay $120 for a T-shirt. That's really logical with just a little tick on it. That's not logical. But what is emotional is I'm going to buy that $120 shirt with a tick on it because that means something. That means, I don't know, it makes me feel good that I'm wearing a Nike shirt because that's what all my mates wear, and that puts me at a certain stature as opposed to feeling that you're not good enough at the gym or something.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking products here. I mean, I always used to love the Patek Philippe ad for Patek Philippe watches, and they used to say, you don't buy this for yourself, you buy it for your son, right, or your grandson. That's a real emotional pull to be able to think that this is something I'm going to pass down. But the same thing applies. That emotional pull applies to services as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Again, if I could look at our coaching business, I mean, it really is that emotional impact, that the transformation that we want people to be able to go home and spend time with their family and not have to hang a lamb chop around your neck so the dog doesn't bite you, or have to reintroduce yourself to the kids every second week so they know who you are.
Yeah.
Or end up taking, all of the stress and shit from the business home, that the kitchen table becomes a boardroom table and your bedroom becomes a meeting room. And, we want to take all of that away so that people actually feel like I can actually have my business and I can have my family, and they don't have to steal from each other.
No.
So that's the emotional outcome.
Yep.
Yeah. And if we can understand that.
I should say boring businesses like accountants, but dry. I think most people sort of go, I've got to go see my accountant.
Boring
and it's
businesses.
sort of
Apologies to all the accountants listening.
Yeah, apologies to all the accountants. But people don't get excited because
You
they're going to the
boring lot,
accountant.
you.
This is going to the, you don't, like the dentist, like, you don't think, oh, I'm so excited I'm going to the dentist. But you're excited because you're going to have, when you come out of the dentist, hopefully in a good position, but you're going to have nice clean teeth. You know that you're going to have a good outcome, and there's opportunity to have good teeth.
So, what, your own teeth? So a dentist is a good example because most people don't like going to the dentist. I've met a couple of people who do, but there's something wrong with them. Most people don't like going to the dentist. But see, a dentist A dentist who understands what they're doing doesn't sell dental services. We should get Jesse Green on, who's a coach for dentists, to have a chat with us about this one day. In fact, we will. He's in Brisbane now. So, but dentists don't sell dental services. Dentists sell the smile you have when you walk away.
They certainly don't put a drill in their advertising.
No, they
it's
don't.
a key tool that they use, but they don't sell the drill.
No, they don't. And the ads never have the sound of a drill playing. But what they do is they sell the confidence that comes from having a nice smile.
Yeah.
So really, if you were to go through that, what do dentists sell? They sell confidence.
Yeah.
So that's what you've got to think about. You've got to think about in your business, what's the end product, the end emotional product? Understand that, number one. So let's break it down, Caroline. Number one, understand that. Number two, get your team to understand it. Then number three, incorporate that message in all of your marketing and watch your business scale from there.
I'm going to add in there, incorporate that into your systems and your processes.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you're just putting it in at the marketing end and then at the transaction end of your business, there's a massive big hole in the middle. It has to be through the client journey.
So you actually need to make it a part of your DNA.
Yep.
You've got to live and breathe what the emotional outcome is.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. These are the sort of things that we teach all the time in our mastermind program and in the Family Business Podcast. Hey, if you are listening to this on your favourite podcast app, please like, subscribe, or if you know somebody in business, then share the podcast with them. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'd love to know more. We'd love to know if you've liked it, fantastic, subscribe. If you've got something you'd like to hear from us, then please pop it into the comments below, or even just let us know what's been happening in your week until we chat next in the next edition of the Family and Business Podcast. This is Mark Creedon. Please make sure you spend time with those who matter most.